So today I got my period around 2 o'clock to 2:30 in the morning, around that time. And it's been a bitch. It has been a bitch. But you know what? At least I'm not pregnant. But then again, I didn't need my period to tell me that. I just, you know, I already knew I was going to be out for the count today. I was like, I don't want to do anything. But I said, Natalie, if you're not going to do anything, if you're going to stay home, it's also rainy out, why not work on some sewing projects that you've been not doing? First thing I'm going to do is just seam rip everything that I have to seam rip so that I don't have to do it for the rest of the video. I don't personally mind seam ripping. The only time I do not like seam ripping is after I completed something and it's wrong, which turns out happens very often. Other than that, seam ripping is great. At first I was listening to music, but I think I'm gonna continue watching NCIS. I don't know about y'all, but I have this thing where I just absolutely adore watching these long-running shows. To those actors, the character actors that do this type of work, thank you, man. You guys are the backbone to this industry. I decided to start NCIS Los Angeles and I'm in the 2nd season. Let's go. Step 1, seam ripping. Actually, I feel a little bit better since now that you're here and I don't feel alone because Albie's upstairs because he doesn't want to talk to me. And now let me show you all the thrift flips that we'll be working on today, starting from the easiest to the hardest. I love this top at first because it gave me like the off-the-shoulder look, but still allowing me to wear a regular bra, not like a strapless one. However, looking at it, taking a real long look at it, I realized that it would look better and it would fit me better if I just take off the strap. I haven't worn this dress in ages because the elastic broke from the seam and it's been like this ever since. I just got to repair the elastic and we'll be good to go. I thrifted this top and said I was going to crop it, and that was like last year or the year before that. So today I'm gonna finally do it. I've had this dress for years, and although I really love wearing it, a part of me is always like, wouldn't it be super cute if it was shorter? Like, I want to make it into that like baby doll dress of my dreams. I also thrifted this last year or maybe the year before that and wanted to make it fit me better. I thought this was going to be easy fix, and it probably would have been if I knew how to technically sew. But yeah, we'll see how I did with this later on. Ooh, my girl Karina gave me this set to thrift flip, and I've been holding on to it for like at least a year now because I've been too scared to mess it up. It's so cute, you know, but I have to lower the waistband, I have to take in the crotch area, and I also have to hem it because your girl is short and not even my highest boots were tall enough for the length of these. I actually forgot I had this dress, and thanks to my decluttering of my closet, I was reintroduced to it. I love the print and the super funky long collar, but it's way too long on me, so I need to shorten it and pray I don't accidentally make it too short like I've done with other dresses. Last, we get to these jeans that was a very last minute addition. I asked on IG if I should make it into like a 2-piece set or a maxi skirt, but then my sister and mom suggested I add in a panel to the sides, so we're gonna try to do that. Alright, I started seam ripping the easiest thing, and that was this top, of course. If you're wondering what took the longest to seam rip, well, you'll find out in a minute. But first, I'd like to give a thank you to today's sponsor, and that is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes on everything from design, videography, illustration. I've used Skillshare to hone in on various creative forms like, of course, videography and journaling. However, you can also use Skillshare to broaden your career or start a whole new one with their career-focused classes, and there are hundreds of them. This year for me has really been an eye-opener in how important it is to have multiple streams of income. So a goal of mine for the end of the year is to potentially launch some merchandise or some digital products that will hopefully turn into passive income. So the class I started taking has been Etsy Launch, How to Open an Etsy Shop Like a Professional Seller by Tiffany Emery. This 2-hour class has not only been motivating, but it was also really informative, so I just won't be opening up a shop, but really like launching it, you know? It's important to know the basics and some tips that will help you in the long run with these platforms. And speaking of knowing the basics, another class I have been taking is Sewing Basics, Make Your Own Clothing by Denise Bayron, which I should have watched before I actually did this thrift flip. But hey, at least now I know some skills that will help me for my next project. So get started with reaching your career goals this year by clicking the link in the description box down below. And the first 1,000 homies will get a 1-month trial of Skillshare for free. So thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring today's video. Also, when you're supporting my sponsors, you're supporting me, my channel, my son, and you're helping me create more videos. So to anyone who has clicked the link down below at any given given time throughout this video. Thank you so much for having my back. I really appreciate it. Now let's get back onto the thrift flip.
One eternity later.
Oh my god, I'm almost done. Ah, that took forever. Okay. Cute. I finished this. This was the easiest thrift flip. All I had to do was just take out this. I just have to sew this up and my new shirt will be done. I might just sew it by hand so that you don't see like a weird seam like right here. Yeah, okay, I think that might be better. So I'll sew this by hand then. Alright, perfect. I didn't have to change the elastic. Whenever you have a situation like this with the elastic, like I tried to see if I could still keep that elastic. Let's say the end of it ripped off, just pull it a little bit tighter and then just sew on top of that. So I just seam ripped right here. This is where the elastic is. And then I put in this thing inside of there, grabbed the elastic, pulled it out, placed it into position and just sewed on top of it. And now we're good to go. I used the same elastic. I didn't have to use any more elastic. Also, I didn't have any. So yeah, wow, this was so simple, but I kept putting it off forever and I haven't worn this dress in like at least a year because of that, but she's ready to be seen again. I'm going to sew maybe about an inch from where I want the new seam to be. First thing I'm going to do is actually mark where I want this seam to go because I just tried to sew it and I was like, how am I gonna make sure that this is gonna be straight? So time to measure, then sew. Yeah. Sorry that was confusing, but I filmed everything on different days. Also, I keep saying seam, but what I really mean is a basting stitch, which is just a temporary stitch to hold the fabric together. I was going to wing it, but then I thought it would be smarter of me to actually mark where the stitch will be. The reason I'm adding a basting stitch on this fabric is because I don't want it to fray quickly. Knowing me, I will have to do multiple tries, so you know, I don't want the edges to fray too much. Oh, I thought I was filming, but it wasn't, but I cut it. I'm gonna pin all of this around and then just sew right on this line. And then that's it, we done? That's easy. All right, I pinned everything down. I forgot I had these little clips. I'm gonna use the band as my outline or whatever to go ahead and sew a new seam. So hopefully this is as easy as I think it is. I actually have elastic or like stretchy thread. I'm going to change my thread to these and hopefully it works. Here we go. Being that this is stretch fabric, using stretch thread is really useful. This way I only need to do a straight stitch and it'll stay secured and won't break when I stretch a fabric. If you don't have stretch thread, you'll want to use a zigzag stitch with regular thread. So then your seams won't break when you stretch out that fabric. Okay, did it come out like I think it did? It did! Wow, that was really good. I did that! Woo! Alright, I'm gonna try it on. But of course, because this is something that I am making, we don't ever get things right on the first try. So, like, she's actually a little bit too baggy, but I'm worried if I bring her up here, like, it's not gonna be tight, it's still gonna be a little bit baggy. Options are either, one, just take from here and be happy with it, like take in the sides a little bit and then just say like, that's it. Option two would be to take out the whole thing, which I don't wanna do, and bring it up a little bit more, which I'm gonna have to take from the sides anyways. She is a little bit long. I normally like to show like some type of like midriff, but maybe this is just a shirt, I won't do that. Okay, finally, I'm sewing everything in again. Let's hope and pray that this works. I'm gonna try it on. Actually, let me try it on. Good thing that I tried it on. I pinned it where it would have been because it's still too low. I should have it sit like right here. It just makes my waist look more bulky and I need it to be like right up there. So I'm gonna repin everything, retry on, and then if it comes out great, sew it and we're finally done.
Few inches later.
Okay, we have remeasured, repinned, tried it on. I think this is a good length. I hope. What are you doing, Albie? You in my seat. Are you gonna sew for me? I don't think so. Albie, excuse me. Excuse me. taking a leap of faith and just hoping that it looks okay. I just really want to cut this. I want to make sure I'm not getting any of the actual fabric. Yay, I love cutting stuff. Alright, I'm gonna iron this, zigzag stitch the ends, and we're done. Okay, so I'm gonna be using this dress as a template for the red one because on this one the length is so nice. It's not too short, not too long. Looks good with my boots, so let's do that. Let me turn this inside out. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm lining up the back or the front of it. I'm lining up the armpit areas so I can get my desired length. I just need an additional 16 centimeters. I made this one so hard on myself when it was just quite simple, y'all. So let me just skip ahead and tell you what was the final version of what I ended up doing. Because I only needed 16 centimeters, I first ironed out the fabric so it could lay as flat as possible and then marked 16 centimeters from the hem all around the fabric and then marked another centimeter, so 17 centimeters, and marked that all around too. I then sewed a basting stitch on each marked line, and what this creates is a way for you to manually scrunch up your fabric and make those ruffles. All you need to do is grab both ends and gently pull on it, pushing down your fabric and then ruffling it to your desired length. I pinned the major points, so I'm going to pin everything, going to re-ruffle everything, and then I'm going to finally sew it and then be done. Well, that took forever and a day. She is finally pinned. I'm going to sew this now, and hopefully we're done. I also made sure to sew it on the basting stitch that was at the 16 centimeter mark. You have to keep making sure that everything is flat. If not, you're going to sew the bottom, which is what I did by accident. Ah! Oh my god, this is amazing. Initially, I was gonna cut off the excess fabric, but when I tried it on, girl, I really loved how it gave that last tier so much volume. So I decided just to cut a little bit off so that you wouldn't see the fabric from the outside, and finished it off with a zigzag stitch. Yeah. Natalie, oh my god, and it curves down so my butt is covered. Oh, so happy. So we're all secured. I love it. This double little bottom hem part just adds so much volume to it, and it looks so cute. I'm so happy. All right, for this vest, I was thinking to take it in from here, but it's not gonna fix the problem that I have in the armpits. So instead, I just pull this up. So I think I might just cut this open, flip it, turn it inside out, pin it, and then we'll see from there. I could like go ahead, cut everything, make everything like really pretty and stuff. I mean, could I do that? I don't know if I could, but I just really want this to be like a quick, easy thing. So where I like it, I'm just gonna sew it down the line. Yes, it's gonna be uneven. The back side is gonna be a little bit bigger than this side, but I don't care. I just want it to be finished. I just want this to be really quick. I tried it on. I mean, clearly you can see like, look at this, is not even. Anyways, I might seam rip this and then try to do that, but I don't know, it's just like so much extra work. Even like this. Again, like, do I really want to do all of this? I really don't want to have to. I kind of don't like that this comes out like this. So I decided to do something that I wasn't originally gonna do, but I am going to seam rip everything because it does look really bad. Anyways, I'm going to seam rip everything, line them up, and then just sew it. Okay, so I've seam ripped everything. Now what I'm going to do is try to manipulate the fabric that's here and gonna start basically folding it into where I need it to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fold it in, do this, boop, sew. Even though like on the collar part, like, I'm gonna fold it in more, use this collar to sew around it, to sew like a new collar. So instead of it going up like this, it's gonna do this instead. That's the idea. That's the hope. You know, I kind of just dive into things and I just try. I'm like, if 1 + 1 = 2, then why doesn't 3 + 3 = 6? Yeah. All right, so I sewed the 2 pieces together so they don't look like this anymore. You see that, like, now they're like this. I am gonna have this kind of like hunchback situation, but girl, there's only so much I can do with the skill that I have, and I don't feel like doing a whole lot of stuff. Fine, it's fine. I like it. I'm gonna do the same thing onto this side. I'm gonna seam rip, place it back together, sew it up, and be done. All right, it is time to chop this up. All right, time to zigzag stitch this, and I'm done. And then I think I'm going to do a top stitch so it's not so bulky up here. Is this perfect? But that's fine. But okay, I did a top stitch over so this could lay more flat.
The next day.
So I didn't like that the neckline was just like so high. Like I already have a short neck and then I just made it shorter. So I thought to just seam rip the collar, fold it in more, put the collar back on, but then we came into this kind of problem. So I seam ripped all of this as well, and I'm just like trying to manipulate the fabric so that it just all falls down together. Yeah, let's just hope it works. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm just gonna try to essentially cut this and lower it, but I do know that we're working with knit, and so you can't just cut it right off the bat. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna stitch about like 2 lines about 1 centimeter and another one about 1.5 centimeters or half a centimeter, just so at least there's like a barrier so that when I do cut it, it doesn't go crazy. And then from there, what I am gonna do is try to measure it up to where exactly I want the waistline to be. And then I'm also going to sew down there the same thing, about 2 lines, so that again, when I cut it, it doesn't come undone. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this is gonna be okay. In my head, I was like, yeah, that sounds like it should be good. So another little problem that we get to is that I get this camel toe-y situation. That's just because there's extra fabric here. So I'm gonna see if I can just sew, I don't know, 1/2 centimeter, 1 centimeter, just down the line. I'm just gonna secure it twice, and hopefully that should be okay. Maybe I should pin it down. I should probably do that. The other thing that I want to do is just mark as to where my waistline is gonna be. I want this to hit me here. I'm just gonna mark it roughly, right here. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Connect it together, sew it, and let's go. Time to cut this. This is scary, but I gotta do it. I did it. I'm gonna attach this to this. Right sides together, sew it, and that should be good. Hopefully. Oh my god, so I sewed everything down, but it's a little bit tricky to get it just on like the line. I'm gonna have to seam rip this so I can get this up. The front part is definitely bad. The back part is a little bit better, so just gonna have to seam rip and readjust, seam rip and readjust so I don't get this kind of like awkward thing. Yay, it looks better. Woo!
6 months later.
I have been prolonging this for the longest time. The bottom half, I really love the end on the hem here. And I was like, man, I just don't want to cut it and just have it just be like plain Jane. Is there any way I can attach this? But honestly, I don't really think so. I think I'm just gonna have to cut it. I'm going to try it on with my favorite boots to see what exact length I need them to be. Dang, see, they're still so long. So long. The good thing that the checkerboards are there as a guideline, so all I'm doing is just folding and following that. Damn, she's still too long. After I figured out the length, I sewed it right side up and used a row of checkerboards closest to the hemline as my guide, and I was jamming out that day. Oh my god, my Spotify playlist came out with some good jams that day. Finally, you see the line? Whee. It is what it is. I'm gonna zigzag stitch it. That's it. So I did a zigzag stitch all around. I really don't think that was the best thing to do, but it's what I did. I think it would have been better had I folded it in. Oh well. From here on, I'm just making sure that you can't see the zigzag hem. On to the next project. Woo. So I'm gonna seam rip this side and just cut like this, which normally I would use a rotary cutter and just cut it this way, but because I'm having the back a little bit longer, I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna do it this way. I feel like when I do sewing projects, a lot of the time is spent inside my head. I'm inside my head because I'm like, what am I doing? What is happening? What is this and that? Although yes, I think it is really important to have some steps when you are sewing. Sometimes that fear just holds you back because you're too scared to do anything. You're just like frozen. Like I stay like that. I just get like, you know, because I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And even this, I'm like, is this right? Or, you know what, girl, you're just gonna have to go for it. And if it turns out that it's not, oh well. There's big talk coming from me, but here we go. Oh, I cut it. That's kind of scary. What I'm going to do is actually seam rip the sides. Let's try it on. So we see how this is coming out. I think it's good that I tried it on so then I can see if it's still tight on my hips. Seam rip just a little bit more. I don't know, do I loosen it even more, like from here? The thing I'm worried is like, I'm scared with the fabric that I have left, which isn't much. It's just gonna look very patchworky, but maybe that might just make it look unique and different. So if I went to go sit down, yeah, no, she's still tight. Okay, so I ended up going all the way up here, panel, right here. So I called my sister and I was like, I don't have enough fabric that I can just cut like this. I'm like, so do I do it like this? Or do I cut these into pieces and put them together so then it looks more uniform? Does this way look too homemade? Or do I want to do it? So I was debating on whether to add two panels together so it kind of looks like a line, like more seamless, but there is this seam here that my sister told me that you would see the seam, and I was like, no, you won't. You will. Okay, fine. You were right. You were right, sister. So the other way, because this piece of fabric isn't long enough, I'm going to have to put it this way, which is not what I wanted, but I think it's gonna have to go like this instead, so at least you don't see a seam. I think I'm just gonna have to go with this because the other way is really awkward. So I sewed the panel to the dress, which I don't know if it can be considered as a godette, but panel or godette, whatever, I was supposed to cut it in this triangle form and then attach it together. But what I did was make it harder for myself and I attached it as a solid piece. So this took longer to pin together, but anyways, it was just as effective. It got me the same results. I made my panel. Yay! I'm gonna cut this off and then I'm gonna work on the hem. So I ended up making the dress way too, it looks very space. So I'm gonna have to take some of this from both sides so they're not so pointed. Okay, we get to these jeans. First thing I'm gonna do is start seam ripping the sides. I do have a pair of jeans I'm gonna sacrifice. Unfortunately, they're my favorite pair of jeans, but they are really on their last legs. So the problem with these jeans is always give me a wedgie because they're really tight. I think I might just put it from all the way up here, really, so I have enough space, but do I just go all the way up top? It might look awkward from here. Yeah, I'm still getting a wedgie. I'm gonna take this all the way to the top. So I went all the way up here and I come to realize that these jeans are just tight on my butt. They're always gonna dig into my butt. It's really unfortunate. I thought that it was this. I mean, this was tight as well. They do feel better, you know what I'm saying? All right, do I take from this and cut the panel out and then replace this panel here? Or do I take from this or this? I'm going to seam rip the inside because I need as much fabric as I can for the panel. I decided to use the side of the jeans for my panel, and girl, I made mistakes. Looking back, yeah, there is a better way to do this, so let me tell you. Instead of cutting it like how I'm doing it here, cut the panel out by just laying your jeans like you normally would, front side facing up. align that side seam together and pin it down so it doesn't budge. And then from there, cut out your shape. Two mistakes happened when I did it, as you're seeing right now. First thing was that one of the side seams on the jeans wasn't perfectly straight due to just like wear and tear over the years. So when I cut it out, it ended up wonky. Second mistake is that when I folded the panel to make my triangle, I realized that the sides didn't match up. So one side was like smaller than the other. So yeah, just cut out the panel like how I'm showing you here, and don't forget to pin it down so that the fabric doesn't shift on you. I ended up making it work the best way I could. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, by cutting out the panel in a size that could fit on the other piece, but the side seam was still like a bit off to the side on one of them because it just didn't have enough fabric. So again, just be mindful when you're cutting out your piece, because you might end up having to cut off a lot of additional fabric or just fabric that you wanted to keep, you know? All right, so I have my panel piece, which I will admit I do not think is big enough, but hopefully it's enough. I'm going to place it and pin them right sides together in, and pin it all around. After pinning everything down, you're going to sew it down, and this can take a couple tries to get it right. It did for me, especially because I wanted to get that side seam as straight as possible. Make sure to try it on to get your desired volume and such. All right, now we're gonna get to the before and afters of everything. So excited. Okay, so first one, I am loving this top so much more now, dude. Like, I cannot wait to wear this out, especially because she's a neutral piece. And I think she's gonna come in handy for a lot of my outfits, and especially for summertime. I still can't believe this took me this long to fix this elastic, but whatever, we're here now, and I'm really happy that I can wear this dress out again. Like I said in my declutter video, I need more tops, and I love that this is not only colorful, but most of it is a solid color, so I'll be able to mix and match her quite easily in my wardrobe. Oh my god, dude, this dress, she's amazing. I mean, like, I'm so happy that I made the change. Now I have two baby doll dresses that I would be living in for all of summertime. And the best part is that the back is long enough that I won't need to wear something over this to cover my butt. This is the best. Okay, we had so many wins, and here's our first and only loss, y'all. I really should have just seam dripped everything like I had originally said, but the laziness got the better of me. Sometimes shortcuts work, other times like these, it doesn't. I think if I had a longer neck, this wouldn't have bothered me as much, but my short neck gets even shorter with this. Oh well, I'll make sure to get a couple wears out of her. Okay, Karina, again, thank you so much for giving me this set. Oh, wait, I just realized I didn't even wear the top for it. Wow, missed opportunity. But anyways, I'm seeing that these pants are going to become my go-tos for everything. They are comfy and cute, and I'm so happy that I could finally start wearing them out. Get ready to get sick of these, because I'll be wearing them all the time. I have finally cracked the code on why all of my other dresses ended up being too short, and it's because they're actually a bit tight on my hips, so when I move around, it ends up shifting. So from now on, when I go to do a thrift flip on a dress that's like a smidge tight on my hips, I'll make sure to add in a godette. This way, when I move around or put my arms up and such, the dress won't be riding up. I am so excited to start letting this dress have its time in the sunshine, because she deserves to be seen. Lastly, these jeans. I almost was like, I don't know if I like them, but they actually grew on me, and I love having something so unique as this in my wardrobe. I mean, I just love making things. Like, to know that you made something or altered it, you know, whatever, just makes it that much more special. So I'm really excited to be wearing these out. Whew. And that is it for the video, homies. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Oh, look at one of the girls in the back. Yeah, I hope this inspired you to pick up something and maybe try your hand at altering it or doing a thrift flip. You know, you don't always have to go and do like crazy before and after things. Just like a little alteration here and there could really make a difference. Also, again, a really big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm sorry that this week I didn't upload on Wednesday, but your girl was sewing, and that takes forever for me because, again, I'm not a professional. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Love you. Bye.